Hello, everyone, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football. My name is Carson, and I am a Cards-a-holic.
My name's Alex, and I'm a Bills-a-holic.
My name's Ian, and I'm a Bears-a-holic.
And today we are pleased to introduce our very first special guest on the show, Charlie.
Hey guys, my name is Charlie and I'm a Ravens-a-holic.
How do you
Round of
feel about that,
applause.
Alex?
I have no thoughts to comment at this current moment in time because
Because
That's
you
right.
want us to roll the intro first. Isn't that
course.
right? Of course,
Yeah.
let's get right into that intro. All right, everyone, and welcome to Footballers Anonymous. Guys, this was a rough football week for me.
oh yeah, no, this was not a good football.
This
week.
was not a
I-
good football week.
I mean, it was pretty good.
No, it
Great
wasn't.
week. I had a great week, guys.
Okay, listen. First, Virginia Tech got absolutely robbed by the ACC in Miami, and
Did.
then we lost to Cliff Kingsbury with a deficit of 32 points.
Obviously, this is an NFL podcast, but I do want to that game with Virginia Tech. That was like Kansas City, like past Kansas City level of rigging.
They
spent
reviewed
10
the play for 10 minutes.
They didn't even have like a good reason as to why. They said like someone stepped out of bounds.
They said someone stepped out of bounds and then came back in bounds. And then because of that, it was technically an incomplete pass. This is the
It wasn't the
dumbest thing
person
I've
that
ever
called it.
heard.
But
No, it
the
wasn't
person
even the person that called it. It wasn't even the person that caught it. It was a defender.
It's just
Well,
The
then
women's call
you
says
can.
Isaiah Likely's toe went out of bounds.
It's low-key worse. It's bad enough that even the UVA fans are saying that we got robbed. So, yeah. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Maybe I'll make a reel about that or something to post. I guess let us know if you're interested in the NCAA. Yeah, so how was this week for everyone else?
not the greatest, but I also was driving during half the
No,
game. So
you're
I couldn't really-
overreacting.
Huh?
I had a great weekend. You're overreacting.
More like
Yeah.
underreacting.
Down, Chicago
Well,
Bears.
I also got railed.
Oh, you beat the Rams. Oh, who could beat
But
the
you wanna know the real
Rams?
fun fact? You want to know the real fun fact? The Chicago Bears put up the same amount of points as the Bills and Cardinals combined. So,
Against the
way to go for you
Rams.
guys.
It doesn't count.
Cardinals blew out the Rams. I just want to point that out.
A win is a
Just
win.
let him have
I would
it.
also like to
Bears
point
don't
that
win
out.
much.
Okay, you're right.
And the
You're
Bills
right.
almost lost to the Cardinals, so.
The Cardinals
This
aren't a
is
bad
true.
team.
But
Unless
yeah,
it's against Cliff Kingsbury, apparently.
What you're forgetting? This is early season Cliff Kingsbury. This is like he's
You're right.
unstoppable. Like
This
the
is
first
early
10 weeks,
season.
and then
This is early season.
if you
Cliff.
guys had like a week 16 matchup, it would have been the other way around.
This is
That's
true.
true.
This is true. And also, the Call of Duty Black Ops trailers were playing the whole time, so
Oh,
Kyler
that's
Murray
true.
didn't
Kyler was
stand
so
a chance.
Yeah,
He
Yeah,
didn't
it's
stand
too
a
bad.
chance.
Too bad his good football play is gonna end in a couple weeks when that comes out.
I'll say y'all got to get on a win streak quicker. You're gonna miss the playoffs because Call of Duty's gonna come out, and then you're gonna start losing games you shouldn't lose.
Yeah, we got to rack up the wins early. Hoping we can start that off soon, but while we're here, those of you who are watching on YouTube may be a little confused because instead of seeing Ian, you see SpongeBob. So Ian, why don't you tell us why SpongeBob is there instead of you?
Yes, probably weird that I'm not showing my face. So I recently, if you have seen the last two videos or any of our reels, you would notice that my background is kind of bare compared to everyone else's. So over the weekend, I took a moment to basically, reconstruct it, make it look a little bit better for my own sake and everyone else's sake. And if I'm going to reel right now, just the final results. Chicago
Oh,
Bears. We got the
wow.
Chicago flag in the back, the light up Chicago flag right back there.
Question for you:
Yes, sir.
That Super Bowl poster. Did you get that when they actually won the Super Bowl?
I did. I
Were you
did.
alive for that? Were you
I
alive for
did.
that?
I walked out of the stadium. They had them on display. I picked one up and walked out.
Of course.
Yep, I was there. I was there for that game. Very
Alex,
nice
you
game.
can't be talking
Ian's had a
about
lot of
Super Bowl
plastic
right now.
surgery, if you're wondering.
I have. I actually found the fountain of youth.
Ah, I
Actually,
see.
I sold my soul as well.
Was that?
So-
Did you sell your soul to look younger? Or did you sell it for the Bears Super Bowl win?
Both.
Okay. It was
That
a
hasn't
little
helped him much since then.
No, it was kind of a mistake. Kind
At
of
least
wish I
the Bears
saved
have
it
a
for
Super Bowl
now, but
win.
it's fine. It's fine. My soul contract expires in about 20 years, and so when that happens, I'll resell it for another Super Bowl win.
Me and Carson have our souls still, so that's why our teams haven't won anything.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
our
that's why we're
souls.
0-4 in the Super Bowl.
I wasn't alive for any of them, though, so it's okay.
Imagine being 0-4 in the Super. Okay, Alex, listen. Just because I saw my team lose the Super Bowl when I was 4 does not count for anything. Okay?
Imagine losing the
because-
Super Bowl.
Just
Like,
because I didn't
you're
watch
good.
my team lose the Super Bowl a few months before I was born. Whatever Carson just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of us have
Yeah.
seen our teams in Super Bowls? I'm pretty sure 2 of us.
You
I was
guys
in
are
the
losing
womb.
Super
I
Bowls?
was in the womb when that Super Bowl happened. I was still in the womb. I technically watched the game.
Didn't you just tell us you were there?
I'm talking about 06.
So you
I
went
thought
back in the womb?
I had to. Like I said, I had to. The Fountain of Youth reverted me too far back. I had to be reborn, literally.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
It reverted me back too far.
I get it. I get it.
Okay.
So, this week, quite a week, Christian McCaffrey. Ooh, that man. Listen,
Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs.
before I say anything, I need to establish, you never want to see this happen to a player. It is terrible, especially when it is a player as talented as Christian McCaffrey. Now, with that being said, Christian McCaffrey. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
As
Bro's
Super
gonna-
stimulated. I think
I'm
he's
ready for
overstimulated.
Jordan Mason to run for, like 150 yards on you next game.
He is currently second in the NFL for rushing yards, so that's
He is.
unfortunate. But I don't think he'll score 8 touchdowns on us this season like CMC did last year, so I think it's a win regardless.
The Cardinals are pretty happy over there, aren't they? The Rams lost Cup and Puka. The 49ers are down Kittle, Samuel, and Matt McCaffrey for who knows how long. What's
Yeah,
going on with the what other team is there?
They're really
Yeah.
gearing up for third in the
The
division.
Seahawks. Oh, the Seahawks are pretty healthy.
Yeah, low-key, our biggest competition as far as health goes in the competition is the Seahawks, and they're definitely the most healthy team right now.
So the Arizona Cardinals are competing for first place with Geno Smith.
Technically, the 49ers are ahead of us, but that's because they beat the Patriots. So
I was also gonna say the Seahawks themselves have some injuries too. Their entire defensive line was out versus the Lions.
yeah,
Pretty
Explains
much.
a lot. What's hard to tell with that running back room anyway? Doesn't matter if
Yeah.
your D-line's healthy or completely gone. They're
That
gonna
was
do
pretty
whatever
rough.
they want to do.
very sad about Christian McCaffrey as a player, but other than that, I mean, I'm doing pretty well. I don't know.
Speaking
Life
of
is
things
pretty
that
good.
Speaking of things that apparently don't matter, when Chiefs players commit crimes, they don't get suspended, but Von Miller gets suspended for something that happened last season.
Nah, instead they just start hurting each other.
The Chiefs are exempt to all the rules in the NFL. This is not
No,
new.
exactly.
Ooh, unless the rules help them, in which case
Correct.
they will literally
Correct.
make them up on the spot.
Penalties don't apply when they're on their head.
Well,
case-
talk about creating rules for the Chiefs. They created an entire rule for Josh Allen and the Bills.
Which one?
The overtime rule
That the Chiefs asked for like 3 years prior. But
that the Bills cried for.
we didn't actually. Josh Allen said it was fair, and this was like a league-wide voted thing. But continue.
It was because
Okay.
of Josh Allen. The
You know what
Bills
else
just
was a
admitted it.
league-wide voted thing? Lamar Jackson's MVP.
That isn't really deserved, but the first one is. Second one's a
Hey.
little question.
Alex, I think we just saw on Sunday who the better quarterback was.
I'm not even saying Josh Allen. I think there were just better options in general than Lamar across the board. But
No, you've
last
definitely
week,
been telling us it was Josh Allen. You've definitely
Yeah.
been
oh no,
telling us it was
I, well,
Josh
He's been
Allen.
obviously I'm
doing
gonna say
Josh Allen
it's him.
specifically.
Well, obviously I'm gonna say it's him, but I'd take Christian McCaffrey and what's his face.
Okay, you know that the MVP is a quarterback reward. Come on.
Well, yeah,
What if you were
Yeah.
a rookie?
but
Okay.
Lamar's a running back. No, okay.
Let's see. What else have we got? How about Daniel Jones? I don't even
Jay
know what to
Adams.
say. I was gonna try to come up with like some little segue and say he was in like the tree of love, but I realized that's the tree of life and not the tree of love, so that would sound stupid.
And
Yeah,
apparently there's
how
not much love going on.
Daniel
Hey,
Jones
Adams.
can't seem to get a win. When everyone thought that they were together, that was like week 1, and Daniel Jones was awful
I
week
mean,
1.
to be fair, that just got denied like the last week. So week 3 does count in that factor, but no. But I will say I don't think it's a full loss. If you look at the quote, she was like, "I'm pretty sure he has a girlfriend. I've met him twice, but I wish him the best of luck." Like,
I mean, that's not a total loss, but I'm just saying.
how's it?
I think it's because she was more attracted to him when he was bad.
Oh, interesting.
It's just like Travis Kelce. How much action has he gotten ever since he started dating Taylor?
The
Literally,
way she
like the
said,
last game was the first one where he actually got the ball, and that's because they're so freaking
Correct.
injured.
He always does good against the Chargers, though, so it might not continue into next week.
yeah, no, it doesn't
That's
count.
true.
Like half the Chiefs wins.
Like all of the Chiefs wins.
We're going to talk about something bad. The Chicago Bears had 10 pre-snap penalties in
Oh
their game
my
against the Rams.
gosh!
The offensive
That's
line is
terrible.
horrid, as per usual.
But do you know who just started to get good? DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift,
More than doubled his
DeAndre
rushing
Swift,
yards in one
he-
game.
he got bullied into good play.
Apparently.
The internet bullied him so much. We talked so much crap that he decided he was done and he played well. The sad part is, though, the majority of it came from the receiving game and not the running game. You take away his big touchdown run, and he loses. He has more receiving yards than he has rushing yards. But it was a good performance. I enjoyed it.
There have been a few players that haven't gotten off to the start that they wanted to.
Marvin Harrison. What?
He had a
Nothing.
good game.
I'm sorry.
He had one good game, yeah.
I think MHJ is doing a good job.
We made
yeah.
Michael Wilson look like a better receiver than Marvin Harrison on Sunday.
Hey, but you also made Jaden Daniels look like the single best quarterback in the league. So I mean, there's a couple of different.
It's
Okay,
shaping
but-
up to look that way.
Yeah, to be fair, that's somewhat true.
He is playing really good. I'm not discrediting him. I'm just like, y'all got cooked.
Yeah.
We can argue that the Cardinals have the best defense in the league now because they forced the Commanders to punt, and
That is true.
This is true.
That
The
was their
first
punt in
team
3 games.
the first team this season to force them to punt. That's a pretty big deal. Not that it ended up doing that much for us because our offense decided to just not work.
you gotta find the small wins.
And I guess I should preface, I wasn't trying to discredit Michael Wilson because Ian and Alex especially know that I do really love Michael Wilson. But we should not be making him look like our wide receiver 1 when Marvin Harrison Jr. is putting up the points like he did with the Rams.
Well, MHJ still had a touchdown.
It was
did
like
still
a
have a touchdown
2-yard
this week.
touchdown. It was.
Still. And he also had 5 catches off 6 targets.
Yeah, no, he is
Better than last
improving.
week, better than last week.
He is
The
improving.
Cardinals aren't the only team like not using the draft pick. The Chiefs like use Xavier Worthy so much week 1, and he hasn't even got like he had like a deep catch again on Sunday, but
He had a touchdown. It was
he
a
had
deep
like a
touchdown.
huge game week 1, and then just hasn't done anything since.
No, you're right.
That's more of a Worthy issue because he's not. His skill sets are completely revolved around his speed and not necessarily the fact that he's like a generational receiver talent. He just fits very well into a Mahomes style offense with his speed, and that's going to benefit him a lot.
It's just Tyreek Hill part 2.
I think
Yeah,
the
but
biggest.
It's just Mahomes
not
getting
Tyreek.
Hill back.
I think the
Not
biggest
Tyreek, obviously,
issue.
No, I'm not saying he's Tyreek. I'm just saying it's basically Mahomes getting Tyreek back.
No, I think what the biggest issue there is the fact that the Chiefs have so many weapons. So many weapons.
Or Mahomes.
It's why
Mahomes.
players like Neighbors are always going to seem like they're the greatest. And to be fair, I would argue that Neighbors is easily the best wide receiver as of his performance right now in the draft class. But I mean, players like that are always going to shine a lot more than players like Xavier Worthy, because who else do the Giants have?
Well, admittedly, the Chiefs aren't that much better. I mean, they have Kelsey, but
There's no
McKinnon's
injury.
injured. Sky Moore is horrible, and Rashi Rice just got injured. So it's really just Worthy and Kelsey right now.
Can we get the battle of the washed tight ends between Travis Kelsey and Mark Andrews?
Bro,
Nah,
don't
that's
even
Bro.
Mark
that's a
Andrews.
tough comparison. That's a tough comparison.
You know what else sucked on Sunday? Seeing Zach Ertz score against us.
That happened? Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Crazy.
This was a terrible game for us. Zach Ertz scored on us. Cliff Kingsbury owned us. Probably picked up his paycheck on the way. Terrible. Also, I should point out that Jaden Daniels also went to ASU, so you also have that. It was...
I'm gonna be honest. Didn't know. As far as I'm concerned, Zach Ertz is still hurt. I haven't seen him or heard him play in a game.
I low-key
in
forgot he existed until he just showed up on the
years.
field and scored on us.
See, part of me forgot he existed, but he's on one of my fantasy teams, so
Yeah.
I remembered for a minute.
Another thing, too, you guys let Alamide Zacchaeus put up 85 yards on you.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of wrong things. Our defense, what happened was inexcusable. It was terrible. It was unforgivable. I mean, y'all know how I feel about Budda Baker, my favorite player on the Arizona Cardinals, and he didn't have a great performance.
I don't
Yeah,
think anybody had a great performance.
no.
You want to talk about people not having a great performance? Let's look at the Dolphins real quick. But before we talk about the Dolphins, let's look at their opponent, the Tennessee Titans, because we got a Will Levis meme of the week. Thank you,
Woo!
Alex, for giving me the segue. Will
welcome.
Levis meme of the week. Woo!
All right, Ian,
I-
what is the meme of the week?
The Will Levis meme of the week. Maybe my favorite so far. Competing with week 3. He is on the sideline, crying.
This is even more
not
funny because they
much.
won.
It's not much, but in his defense, he thought he got injured. I'm not happy that he was crying, but I'm definitely happy that we got a meme out of it.
Zach.
And so we're 4 for 4, baby. We got 4 weeks, 4 memes.
We're gonna be
He's
even if there's no apparent meme of the week, we will find a Will Levis meme of the week every single week so that you guys
100%.
can vote on which one is the best at the end of the season. We will
I
have a
won't.
Will Levis meme power ranking, and it will be.
Will Levis is just memeable.
He
Like, everything he
is.
does.
He produces more
Funniest
memes than he
player.
does points.
Funniest player in the NFL since Jameis Winston in his prime.
Nah,
I'm
Zach.
going that far. I'm going that far.
Jameis Winston.
I saw that as a comment somewhere. I completely agree. It's that far right now.
Yeah.
He's
So wait,
fine.
did you say a comment?
Oh, whoa,
Whoa.
that's
That's
crazy. Yes,
crazy.
I'm coming at you with our comment of the week. Our comment of the week on Instagram this time. Last week was TikTok. This week's Instagram.
Woo!
I went through, checked them all, and this is what we got. We got one from slim.cw on Instagram. He said, "This better than Joe Rogan," and had 2 yawn emojis next to it. And he's right.
He is
much
right.
better.
Who's
So much
Joe
better.
Rogan?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I
We're
bet.
the- We're the podcast.
Charlie gets it. Charlie, let's say you're this guy on the street, right? I come up to you, I say, "Hey, do you know who Joe Rogan is?" What would you say back?
What's a Joe Rogan?
Now, if I come up to you on the street and I say, "Hey, did you listen to the new episode of Footballers Anonymous?" What do you say?
Man, I'm on that all day, every day. Make no mistake. I was raised on the FA, man. Come on.
Congratulations, you.
It's our first subscriber right here.
This guy is. I don't even think we mentioned that. Charlie here was our first subscriber on YouTube, and since YouTube was the first platform that we were on, this makes him our very first follower ever.
Actually, we were our own first followers.
No, he actually subscribed to the YouTube before we did.
But that,
Crazy.
don't
Yes.
even act like
Wow.
you subscribing to yourself is cool.
No,
You're the
I'm not
first
I'm not
subscriber.
joking when I say he is literally the first person. Like, yeah. Speaking of people, do you know who's better than people? Mascots.
What a segue. We are on a segue train right now. We are
This is
on the
awesome.
segue.
Segues.
Segueing the
Speaking
segue.
of segues, let's get into the mascot update. So, for those of you who don't know, here on this podcast, our favorite people in football are the mascots. So, I have taken it upon myself to get a mascot onto this podcast. And each week, until some mascot earns the award for best mascot and joins us on this podcast, we will be continually giving you updates on what it looks like. So I have emailed each organization asking them about their mascots, and I got a couple responses. I got one from the Seahawks. I got one from the Vikings. The only organization I did not email were the Browns, because the stupid Browns were just like, don't even try and ask us about our mascot. You've got to pay like $600 for him. And I was like, well, your mascot's stupid anyways. So sorry, Browns, but I guess you lose. You have the worst mascot in football.
They should change their mascot to a massage person.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, so all of the responses I got were basically links to request forms. A lot of them had price tags on them, so a couple of other teams went bye-bye off the list. But for those that didn't have them immediately apparent, I filled them out, have not gotten any responses since then, but I will keep you updated. Now, here's the catch. You, as the fans, can also help us. If you have a favorite mascot, you can put the word there too. The more people that request it, the more attention that we will get. If we
This
have
is true.
1,000 people reach out to, I don't know, let's pick a random mascot, maybe Big Red
Sticky
because
the
he's the
Bear.
best one. Shut up. No.
Sticky the Bear is a goat.
Okay, being
I
real,
would
it's
probably
probably
say
the
Bear,
it's probably the
but he's a
Colts
goat.
mascot. It's probably the Colts
Probably.
mascot. But
Really,
we're
the Colts over Jackson DeVille?
yeah.
That's
The
true. Jackson, yeah.
Okay, but anyways, let's say that you reach out. If 1,000 people reach out to Big Red will definitely want to come and join us. So I will continue to reach out every single week, even to the stupid Browns and their stupid elf mascot. Yeah. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, last time we said that every NFL team has a mascot. I have learned now that that is false. However, if we are able to get someone else from that organization to join us, I will still give them the best mascot award for coming and representing their team despite not even having a mascot. So yeah, there is your
Imagine-
mascot update. It is pretty statistically awesome. Gotta love
Wow,
that
he put that-
statistically awesome
He's
segue.
putting that one on a line. It's the stat line of the week, guys. You know, last week was a pretty good one. Kind of hard to beat. And this week, the GOAT, Mitchell Trubisky,
Yeah.
2 passes for 1 completion and 2 yards.
I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest. If the Bills kept in Mitch Trubisky the whole game, the Ravens would have gotten smoked.
I agree.
I agree.
Completely agree.
I agree.
That's
It would have been just a shutout.
We're talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson for MVP. What are we doing? Mitch Trubisky's right here,
I
guys.
agree. You put
This is-
Trubisky in, you get Tom Brady part 2, but
Exactly.
upgraded.
The only quarterback all time that's better than Mitch Trubisky is Nathan Peterman.
No.
No.
Trubisky clears.
No.
No
Mitch
diff.
Trubisky. He's him.
He is the MVP.
Let me rephrase. The only quarterback that's ever had a game that competes with anything of Mitch Trubisky. He had that
Okay.
Chargers game.
Okay, hold on. We got 3 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the entire history of the NFL, okay? We've got Mitch Trubisky, Nathan Peterman,
Mitch Trubisky and Mitch Trubisky.
and Trace McSorley.
That's what I
Trace
was gonna
McSorley.
say.
I respect it. I respect it.
I do
It's
have time.
Trubisky, a bunch of space, and then McSorley.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the only reason why there's a bunch of space there is because Nathan Peterman's neck has to fit somewhere.
Nice little throwback to the most disgusting game I have ever watched between the Buccaneers and the Cardinals when it was Tom Brady versus Trace McSorley. And Trace McSorley, despite making, I think it was 3 completions in the first half, almost beat Tom Brady. It was
Listen,
disgusting.
Here, a stat line of the week, honorable mention real quick. We got Bo Nix in the first half, 7 completions for -7 yards. Couldn't include him on this list because it's not a full stat line. He did not have that at the end of the game, but honorable mention to him right there. That was a stellar performance in the first half.
That's gorgeous.
Well, congratulations to the GOAT Mitchell Trubisky for stat line of the week.
Woo!
Absolutely stacked trophy case.
Yeah, that man has it all. Who needs a
I'm
Lombardi
really-
trophy when you got all he has?
All
I think
he
Trubisky
has.
clears over Josh Johnson any day.
I think he clears over everyone. Patrick
Absolutely.
Mahomes, who? Give me Trubisky.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Trubisky
you
doesn't need
mean
the
to tell me we drafted Trubisky over Mahomes? Greatest decision we've ever made. Why would we even want Trubisky? Or why would we even want Mahomes? Mahomes who? What has
Trubisky
he
doesn't
done in
need
his
the ref.
career?
Trubisky doesn't
How-
need the ref.
How many stat lines of the week does Patrick Mahomes have?
0.
0.
Counting none.
Goose
Is that
egg.
right?
How many original MVP awards does Mahomes have? 0.
Boom.
Trubisky is the original MVP.
He is the MVP.
He is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, we have this week's power rankings. And if you've been listening to us before, we're changing it up a little bit this time. Okay? So,
Crazy.
like normal, the 3 of us, me, Alex, and Ian, your hosts, have made our power rankings and averaged them together like so. If there were ties, we did discuss said ties. Archibald is here. His power rankings are not in here. However, at the end of our power rankings segment, he's going to rate our power rankings from 0 to 10. Okay? Normally, we spend about an hour going through all 32 of our power rankings. This time, we're going to change it up. We have our top 12 teams that we will be going through after we go through our bottom 3 teams.
Just your casual reminder. This is our list, so it's better than Pete Prisco's.
Ooh,
Weekly
Amen.
reminder.
Always.
With our first team in the baddies, we have at number 30 the New England Patriots. New England Patriots, congratulations on being our first of the baddies. And hopefully Jacoby Brissett. Oh,
What a game this week. What a game. Such great stats.
low-key, I really just needed them to beat the 49ers. Just like, please. But they couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do that right.
No.
Oh, well, hear me out, guys. Jacoby Brissett and Brock Purdy had 1 pick and 1 touchdown, so
So
they're
what you're
basically on the
saying
same-
is Brock Purdy could be worse than Jacoby Brissett. That's what I mean.
Jacoby Brissett actually had more completions than Brock Purdy.
Oh, so what you're saying is Jacoby Brissett is better than Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Brissett went 19 for 32 for a score and a pick, and Purdy only went 15 for 27.
Well, I agree. We're gonna run with that.
Brock Purdy's washed.
Exactly. He's washed. No one cares about him.
Just pretend the yardage doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. What yardage?
Bro, yardage is a myth.
If you want to talk about yardage, their leading receiver, not counting Antonio Gibson, even though he led them in receptions, their leading receiver put up a generational performance. I don't know how they didn't win the game with this performance from Jalen Polk. 3 catches off 7 targets for 30 yards. This man averaged 10 yards a catch. That's great numbers. Statistically, 10
insane.
yards a catch is great.
I mean, yeah. To be fair,
I
it
mean,
is.
You guys are discounting a guy with 1 reception for 11 yards, Kayshawn Bout.
You're
Never
right.
even heard that name in my life, but like,
Dude,
It's 11 yards.
that's a
That's 11
household
yards a
name right
catch.
there.
That is 11 yards a catch. my
That's a
friend.
household name if I've ever heard one.
Oh,
What was it
absolutely.
again?
Kayshawn Bout, Boutte.
Way to
He's
go.
like the front runner for MVP. I've heard.
I agree. He might be contention. If Mitch Trubisky didn't exist, I'd say he'd be in the GOAT conversation.
You know what Pete Prisco never mentioned? These players right here.
I mean,
This is
people are
true.
always saying like Randy Moss is like the best of all time.
Who?
Yeah, who?
Yeah,
who?
like Kayshawn Bout should be in this conversation, man. I mean,
Oh, they literally named a
he
whole
is-
catch over him. And when you like catch the ball over someone's head, that's called a bout. You bouted
it
them.
is.
Patriots,
Okay.
you suck. You are the very first team to be one of the baddies.
I think
I'm
the
so
score says it all.
sorry. Yes, it
I think
does.
I think the score is just that like no CMC 49ers just
Yeah.
crushed.
This
A
is
worse score than 30-13 is the Miami-Tennessee game, which was just 1 point in the other team's favor, 12-31.
How did you
Miami-
know that Miami Dolphins are our second team of the baddies at
What?
rank 31?
You mean they suck at football?
What?
Wow.
That's crazy. Dude, the
The
fact that you can make Will Levis cry like that and still lose.
Hey,
That's
on the bright side though, the Will Levis meme of the week came on the sideline and not on the field.
That means they did nothing right. That means they did nothing right. They did
Just-
nothing right.
Was Tua the only guy who knew how to use Tyreek? Because Snoop only found him 4 times for 23 yards, which is crazy. If Tua can find Tyreek, surely anybody else can find him more than 4 times for 23 yards. Because
Hear me
that's
out.
some kind of terrible.
Hear me out. Mitch Trubisky starts for the Dolphins.
What are you trying to make him win the Super Bowl? Like, let's calm down here.
Carson, I don't think you understand how unstoppable a Mitch Trubisky Tyreek Hill combo would be.
You're right. You're
He
right.
doesn't
You're
even
right.
need
Be-
Tyreek Hill.
Just unreal.
Throw a shackled Henry Ruggs out there, and Trubisky's gonna win not only the Super Bowl but the Olympics.
I love glazing these random quarterbacks while we're trying to talk about how bad these teams are. It's just so much more fun. Dolphins,
It is.
genuinely,
There's nothing to
you
talk about with the Dolphins. Nothing.
Dolphins, you are a terrible team, but you're not as
Champ.
terrible as the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'd argue they're actually pretty close considering the Dolphins barely scraped by him week 1 with Tua, but the Jags are on 4. So
They've just done nothing. It's so sad that a team with such a good mascot is so utterly terrible.
they're
Agreed.
letting him down. Like, their mascot needs to get out of there. He should go to like Green Bay or something. One of the teams that doesn't have a mascot. He should request a trade like Devonta Adams.
Trevor Lawrence, more like Trevor Lame Rince. Got him.
Fun fact.
You know what I just thought?
For some reason, Trevor Lawrence has listed that he has -5 receiving yards. I don't know how that happened. It's listed in the stats.
What?
So there you go, Trevor Lawrence.
You're just that bad?
You know,
Hey, no, shout out to Gabe Davis, former Bills legend, for having 1 catch off 5 targets for -2 yards.
I'll tell you what, these 3 teams, they're the baddies because they're going lower than some of them baddies.
Hey, they need to listen to Bixby and Tank.
a
Tank
guy
that.
with the name Tank just sounds powerful. So I mean,
Tank Bixby, he is powerful. He is powerful.
that's a scary.
More
man
powerful
right
than Tank
Yeah,
Dell,
scary.
obviously.
I think
Tank
so.
Bixby is okay, but his last name starts with Big.
there. But
It's
That's
Tank
true.
Big.
over Tank Dell, like the computer, like
Yeah.
okay.
Wow, he's a
Yes,
computer.
exactly. No one cares.
Okay, Megatron.
That's why the Jaguars, you have taken the award for our first ultimate baddie. That did not.
Shout out to the Jags.
Who, the Jags or Trevor Lawrence?
That's what I'm saying.
Jackson
Trevor Lawrence can take the
No.
award himself.
No, we're talking about Jackson DeVille here. Let's be real.
Because he's a fatty.
Ooh.
We're talking about the Tom Grossi Jacksonville cosplay.
No. If Jackson DeVille got first baddie award and the best mascot award, he'd be up there with Mitch Trubisky. I'm just saying.
Jaguars,
No,
this is Jaguars
Like-
fans, this is your hint. This is your hint.
He
Go.
would be the Mitch Trubisky of mascots, is my point.
Hey, Jaguars
That's not a
fans,
fair comparison.
why haven't you emailed the Jags yet? Go. Go. Why are you still listening to us? I want to talk to Jackson DeVille. Go. Leave right now. Come back
No,
when
no,
you're
no.
done.
It's about our top 12.
I
Well,
actually think Trevor Lawrence would do a better job as the Jags mascot than as their quarterback.
all right. So
Jackson DeVille, Trevor Lawrence.
I
That's
tried to
crazy.
segue off of that, but I can't.
Bro,
It's so
give him the
bad.
bro. He'd be the ultimate baddie.
He low-key would. So with that, those are our baddies. Absolute baddies. And now you want to talk about baddies. Well, we've got some real baddies because of how not bad they are. These are our top 12. We're going to be going at them. It's going to be crazy. At number 12, we have...
Segue.
Thank you. We have the New Orleans Saints.
Mid.
They dropped 8 spots.
I think the Saints team that was here weeks 1 and 2 is gone, but I do think they got a little unlucky in their loss.
The MVP on the Saints side of the ball for this game had to be Taysom Hill, who
Yeah.
actually left the game with an injury. They might have won that game if he stayed in.
Listen, Taysom Hill will always be my GOAT. In all seriousness, I love Taysom Hill.
He is.
No,
He's one of those
Taysom Hill
guys.
is so good.
He's just one of those guys.
All the returners were rubbing their fingers in like butter or something before the kick.
Speaking of butter, we've got the Seahawks.
What is that?
What a segue!
I'm on
You're the
fire.
segue guy.
The Seahawks went crazy against the Lions. Loki, I can't even be that mad. Shout out to Kenneth Walker for that incredible roll over the
Insane.
defender. That was crazy.
He
That was
rolled, stayed up,
elite.
and then did a front flip and still stayed up.
That man's got some crazy strength. To
He
be
just
doing.
came back from injury too. He was injured the past 2 weeks, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks.
Bro said, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
They still had almost 400 passing yards.
Oh yeah, the praised defenses of both of these teams just decided not to show up
Not at
on
all.
Monday, and it was an offensive shootout the entire time.
I know Jared Goff had his perfect game, but Gino had a really good game too. I mean, I think that was a career high passing yards for him. He played a good game. And the interception came at the very end, and honestly, that wasn't his fault either.
No.
The Lions defender just snagged it. It was a nasty catch.
No.
I feel like they're higher than everybody thought they would be. The division that they're in.
Let's talk about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers at number 10.
The Vikings were looking like the Ravens out there at the end of that game.
Yes. They were about to charger that game so hard. It was about to be the new 28-3, but it was 28-0.
That would have been historical if the Packers came back from that.
Packers
that was-
There's only
defense.
so much you can do in an NFL game, honestly.
Jordan Love also just needs to not throw 3 interceptions.
There were a lot of turnovers in that game. Like, just in general, I feel like it was like a sloppy game, especially because 28 of the Vikings' 31 points came in the first half.
Credit to the Packers defense. They clutched up in that second half.
Did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk about their defense. You got to give a look to Xavier McKinney. He has had 4 interceptions in 4 games. Every game this season, he's had a pick. And if you want to take it back to last season when he was on the Giants, in his very last game as a Giant, he had 2 picks. So in the past 5 games, he has 6 interceptions.
We're going to talk about Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Sometimes. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, he is the one quarterback no one can decide about ever.
He wasn't good until he wasn't good until he needed to be, actually, which is weird.
Bro sat forward in the chair. He said, "I'm a lock-in for real."
Kirk Cousins is it's just so weird, the Falcons. I want to put them higher, but I can't.
They
You
still
know?
went up 7 spots. They went up 7 spots.
That is crazy.
And honestly, it's because of their kicker, Younghoe Koo.
Youngway
He,
too
he, had,
carried
he
that.
went 4 for 4 on field goals, including his 58-yarder walk-off, which is a career high for him.
Speaking of quarterbacks that are super good one week and super bad the next, like Kirk Cousins, we have the diva quarterback in C.J. Stroud and the
Coleridge
Texans.
Stroud.
Coleridge.
Went 27 for 40. That's good for 345 yards, 2 tutties. Just Texans fans are exhaling after that game. I mean,
Crazy that they almost lost that. And I will say, if
Agreed.
I wouldn't call Stroud the diva quarterback at this moment, but I could definitely see it happening considering he's got Diggs yapping in his ear constantly. Sorry. He who shall not be named yapping in his ear constantly.
Stephon Diggs, I'll say it for you.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Is he like Bloody? Is he like Bloody Mary? Is he gonna like?
Yeah, actually. He's gonna pop out at Joe now. He's gonna be like, "Why are you not giving me the ball?" I said Stephon Diggs 3 times in the mirror at 3 a.m. The results may shock you.
He requested a trade from my house. I don't know. It was so weird.
that would have been bad. Losing back-to-back games. That
I
was
also
Jacksonville, dude. Oh,
Nico Collins must be bipolar or something because he came out, he played great against the Bears, and then he played horrible last week. And now this week he went 12 for 15, 151 yards and a touchdown. I don't know what his deal is. He's been up and down so far this season.
Hey, speaking of bipolar, we have literally the most bipolar team of these past 4 weeks in the entire NFL. Literally the reason Charlie is here, the Baltimore Ravens.
don't get me started.
Are they good or are they bad? No one knows.
Right now,
Literally no one knows.
Hey, they had
Alex-
runner-up
Except
for Statline
Alex.
of the week.
Alex knows.
Alex can vouch. We're pretty good because we beat the unstoppable Bills.
pretty good. You're decent.
All I'm saying is that entering the fourth quarter, the Ravens were up 28-10, and I was not ready. Like, I was so scared.
Shout
I will
out to
say, at the very least, I will say that game would have been closer had we not turned the ball over when we had a bunch of momentum.
Okay, and the
Not
Cardinals
too
game would have
well.
been the Cardinals game would have been closer if we didn't turn over the ball. There's no point there.
The reason I'm saying that is because Joe Brady called a terrible trick play. Like, if you saw the play, it was awful.
I saw
It
the
was
play.
not- like, any reasonable play call there, considering the way the offense was moving, I think would have gotten us the first down there.
Stop
Or at least
defending this.
a good amount of yardage.
The Ravens had your number since play 1 when Derrick Henry rumbled for 86 yards
Yeah.
out of the
I mean,
gate.
Speaking of Derrick Henry, Derrick
you're
Henry
also
seems
even-
to own the Bills. Derrick
This
Henry,
is, I don't like that, man.
fun fact about Baltimore in our power rankings, they jumped up the same amount of spots as the Bills put up points. 10.
You know we're gonna be
wild.
number 1 next week when we win against the Bengals. Mm-hmm.
I don't-
It's number 1 worthy.
Like,
That's right. That's right.
Depends on how the rest of the teams play.
The 4-0
His hair
teams are going to
fucking
hold that spot.
down.
At number 6, we have the Washington Commanders. Don't like
The
that.
Washington
Nice
Command-skin football team. They
What a
were
commanding offense they have.
obviously they sucked because they had to punt.
Oh. That's true.
This is true.
Ter-
They had to punt.
They're a terrible team. They had to punt the ball. Jeez.
Arizona's
Yeah.
defense really stood on business. They made them punt. They gave up 42 points, but the big thing is they made
At least
them.
they made them punt.
Hey, at least we
They
made
made
more
their
than one
kicker touch the
touchdown,
field.
okay? At least we made more than one touchdown. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
At least we had
Yeah.
someone rush for more yards than DeAndre Swift.
Just to put something in perspective, Jaden Daniels went 26 for 30. Kyler Murray went 16 for 22. Jaden Daniels had more completions than Kyler Murray had attempts.
No, I'm not defending the Cardinals here. It's pretty clear that Jaden Daniels is him, and I'll be the first to eat my words because
That was
I
a
was not
crazy
confident in the
game.
Commanders at all coming into this game. This was a must-win game for the Cardinals, and they didn't. And that's why the Commanders are so high. The Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels connection that earlier in this show I was so looking forward to seeing has now literally bit me in the butt. I mean,
McCaffrey's still
about
terrorizing you
that.
guys. Luke
I was just about
McCaffrey
to
had
say
1
that.
reception for 17 yards.
I was just about to bring that up. I wanted to talk
Oh.
about that so bad.
Oh
Whatever.
my god. How
I'm
much
going to
would
something
it have
different
sucked
then.
to go
It
from
would
Luke
be really
McCaffrey
funny.
to
Luke
Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey and Jordan Mason both went crazy against the Cardinals in back-to-back weeks.
Okay, thank you,
Listen.
Alex.
Yeah.
Listen, I do have to warn the Commanders because we do have a trend going on now. Both the Bills and the Cardinals scored 40-plus points in weeks 2 and week 3, and then proceeded to get absolutely stomped on. The next team to do this was the Commanders, so you need to watch out the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the Ravens though.
We already did.
No, they scored a lot. We don't have to.
We should
No,
move up.
the Ravens were in fact smart enough to only score 35, so that they are
Thank
not
God.
cursed.
I mean,
Yeah. Up next at number 5, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, slowly climbing their way back up the power rankings. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely destroyed, well, not really destroyed, but it was a pretty good game against the Philadelphia Eagles in this rematch.
They had a point in the game where the Bucks had 266 yards and the Eagles had none.
it took the Eagles 20 game minutes to score to move the chains one time.
Weren't they up like 24-0 too? Or am I tripping?
They were up 24-0.
I think so.
Yes.
I
The
wouldn't call
Eagles'
it.
best play of the game was a blocked PAT returned for a 2-point conversion.
Ooh.
Shout out to Mike Evans. He became the 3rd player in NFL history that's not a kicker to lead their team historically in points scored.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Evans for that.
That
What
is
a guy.
impressive.
What a guy right there.
What
He's
a
looking a
guy.
little Mahomey.
And speaking of kickers, we've got the team that loves to go wide right, or in the case of last week, wide left. We got the Buffalo Bills. Fraud alert!
Do you hear those alarms going off right now?
Fraud
First off,
alert!
I'm hearing alarms. I'm hearing a
Fraud
fraud alert.
alert! We have our first fraud alert, guys, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
I'm sorry. Let's who have the Bills played? They've played the Tua-less Dolphins, the
No.
Jags, and the Cardinals.
They had to. We were up
Okay,
30 when he
for
went
a
out.
quarter.
He was
They
no. He
played-
was out for a quarter. The game was already over when he went out.
Okay,
The
well, we already
Cardinals-
established that even with Tua,
Yeah,
the Dolphins are not
Dolphins.
it.
Didn't make that
And
much
the
of a
Jags.
difference.
And the first time the Bills actually face a legit team.
The
Wow.
only reason
think
why the Bills are remaining as high as they are is because they have Trubisky on the roster. It's just once they put him in, they'll explode past number 1. It's just really all it is, at least for me.
First, Tyler Bass. I don't know what his problem is. There's a reason we're testing kickers and stuff. He's been bad, terrible. In general, the offense started moving the ball. The defense finally started playing decent, and then we obviously fumbled and it kind of spiraled out of there.
I mean, the Bills they kept getting to midfield and then they would just die.
Part of that was also because of drops, which this is the first game we've had drop issues. Coleman had a drop. The first drive where Kincaid dropped the ball on 3rd and 2 or whatever it was insane. That was like a terrible drop. I think we would have gotten some points on that first drive, and I think it wouldn't have been as much of a snowball effect in the beginning of the game if we actually got points on that first drive, even if the Derrick Henry run broke out. But
I do think that even though the Ravens played great offensively and defensively, the Bills shot themselves in the foot pretty much
Many times.
all game.
I do think
absolutely.
it's worth noting that we've talked about the Bills' strategy of spreading the ball out to fairly decent receivers, which has worked great when you're playing nobody defenses. But the moment you play a real defense like the Baltimore Ravens, clearly that strategy does not work.
Part of it's also just our guys aren't developed to the point where we have like guys that are giving that attention. Yeah, like Keon's gonna get there eventually. I have faith that he'll do that. I think Khalil Shakir still has a little bit of progress to be made in his development as well. But I mean, Devontae Adams could also come to the Bills.
I think we're like forgetting something, like not like as far as like receiving goes, but just as like the game in general. The Ravens dropped like 2 picks on different occasions in that game. So it wasn't just like a matter of like Josh Allen was making like throwing. It wasn't a good game all around for the team. It's just
No.
the
Shout out to
Ravens
Ty
definitely gave them a
Johnson for
chance
his
to.
shout out to Ty Johnson for his 3-yard touchdown run and the only carry he got all game.
A 3-yard touchdown run basically is a summary of how that game went for the Bills.
Speaking of teams with lots of mid receivers, we got the Kansas City Chiefs who came out with that W against the LA Chargers.
Who? Who?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
There's really nothing
This
special
is
to talk about with this game. The big headline of this game was Rashee Rice with his big ACL injury. They're still, as of right now, if I'm correct, they're still looking into it. It's not 100% firm it's an ACL. We don't know the true condition. And obviously it was inflicted by Patrick Mahomes delivering an absolute hit stick right to his knee. But other than that, very uneventful game. I thought Kansas City LA would be a better game. It's usually a great game. Kelsey always plays great against LA, but for the most part, just kind of a whatever game. Something's going on with Herbert. I think he's had some sort of injury experience every game this year. I think in all 4 games he's had some sort of injury moment.
I'm gonna be honest. The first 2 weeks, I thought this team was them because Jim Harbaugh looked elite and they looked unstoppable, but they've been stopped. And
Chargers.
yeah,
Yeah, Chargers.
the Chargers
I mean,
actually they lost 17-10. They scored all 10 in the first quarter and went silent the rest of the game. Who's that Chiefs guy? I forget his Trent McDuffie is having a good year.
I thought you were asking about that guy on the Chiefs because he's Travis Kelce. In
No,
case you
that's
didn't know.
he
What is a guy on the
that,
Chiefs? I got it, Carson. I got your reference.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. Guys, we got to keep up with the NFL culture.
Hoping for a speedy recovery from Rashee Rice and his knee, though.
At number
Anyway.
2, we have the first team that is not either the Chiefs or the Bills. We have the Detroit Lions with
the
a
Detroit
crazy
Lions.
win against Seattle.
What a performance from Jared Goff. 18 for 18, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 target, 1 catch from Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 yards, touchdown.
He was perfect throwing and he was perfect catching. That's crazy.
That is
Perfect
crazy.
passer rating. Is that
You
the
know-
first perfect passer rating of the season?
No, Kyler Murray had perfect passer rating.
It's rare that you find someone with a higher completion percentage than Jaden Daniels, but we found someone.
Correct?
We did.
Not 1, 2. Amon-Ra St.
Yeah,
Brown.
that's true.
Celebrations for Amon-Ra St. Brown, I guess.
Let's go. I don't think this Lions team likes to get hurt. You have Montgomery, you have St. Brown. I think the resilience on this team is higher than any other team.
Speaking of good coaching, the Vikings take the
Oh.
number 1 spot.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I mean, they did almost choke, but Darnold played out of his mind in the first half, like out of his mind in the first half. Aaron Jones had a good day rushing, 93 yards. He had 46 yards catching. Jefferson had 85 yards and a touchdown. Addison had 72 and a touchdown. Really good first half from the offense and the defense, for that matter. Second half, they squeaked by the Packers when they started choking, but I mean, they won. A win's a win. I mean,
And the Vikings came in clutch when Jordan Love threw 3 picks.
A big return game for Aaron Jones there, coming back to Lambeau. I think we were all expecting a Lambeau leap out of him.
He did get one after the game.
He did get one.
It wasn't
but
the same,
It
but-
wasn't. It was kind of flawed.
Yeah.
A
You know-
post game Lambeau leap is not the same as I just
No.
scored on my own team at home Lambeau leap.
Yeah. Going through all 32 teams from bottom to top, we have the Jags, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Titans, the Browns, the Panthers, the Giants, the Raiders, the Jets, the Rams, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Joe Flacco Colts, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Steelers, the Saints, Seahawks, Packers, Falcons, Texans, Ravens, Commanders, Buccaneers, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, and Vikings.
Better than Pete Prisco.
So much
100%.
better than Pete
And I
Prisco.
do just want to
Who is
bring
Pete
up
Prisco?
exactly.
All right, so now we have our 3 games of the week for you guys. Unfortunately, this week is not nearly as stacked as last week was, but we think we got some pretty good ones for you. So our first one is the Buffalo Bills, fraud alert, versus the Houston Texans, who are arguably probably the other biggest frauds on this list. I'm going to call this one the Fraud Bowl. The Bills coming to face Stephon Diggs. You know this is going to be a heated game.
The second one is quite the interesting showdown. It'll be the Saints trying to take down the Chiefs and the refs at the same time. I mean, their offense is very, in the first 2 weeks was very good. I mean, it's the past couple weeks, especially versus Atlanta, it wasn't bad. But I definitely want to see first 2 weeks New Orleans versus this Kansas City Chiefs team that needs to take a loss because they should have lost like their first 3 games.
You know, if you combine the word Chiefs and refs, you get the word Chiefs.
And then for our third game of the week, we got a very historically driven matchup, big historical rivals here, the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cowboys obviously very unproven. They have not looked great by any means. I think their fans are still delusional though. And Pittsburgh, as we just mentioned, very Justin Fields-led team. If their defense steps up, I could see them easily taking this game.
Those are our 3 games of the week. You should definitely go and check those ones out if you can. Otherwise, I mean, you know, Cardinals, Bears, Ravens, and Bills happen to be some pretty fun teams, just saying. So you could go watch those. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We hope you had an amazing time listening to us. If you did, then you should leave a comment. You should subscribe. You should follow us on all your socials. They'll be in the description of this YouTube, or you can find them in the descriptions of whatever podcast you're listening to. We thank you so much for joining us. Quick shout out to the Red Cross helping with donations and hurricane relief on the East Coast. If you are cool, you should totally donate. If you do, then you are as cool as the Colts mascot. And if you don't, you are as cool as the Jets mascot. Because it does not exist.
No, you should have said the Browns mascot, man.
Yeah.
'cause
Oh, you're so
that guy.
right. You're so right. I'm going to redo that. You're so right. If you donate to Red Cross, you're as cool as the Colts mascot. And if you don't, then you are just like the Browns mascot. You are cheap and need all of that money, and I have no respect. Shame. Go help some people out.
Be cool like the Colts mascot and be a baddie like the Jags mascot with Trevor Lawrence's hair.
Oh, yeah. All
The
right,
ultimate baddie.
we'll see
I'm
you
gonna make
guys.
an image.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Charlie, thank you again for joining us. We hope to have you on
Absolutely.
here again sometime
Thanks
this
for having
season.
me.
It's been good.
See
And
you
with
guys
that,
later.
everyone,
Thanks so much.
we'll see you next week on Footballers Anonymous.